So it looks like we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Live with Client Hub. I'm Judy McCarthy, your host. Excited to be back. We took the summer off. And so I'm sure with all of you, lots happened this summer, a whole lot more than last summer. So we get to get out. Of course, we've been really busy here at Client Hub. Before I get started, a couple things I do want to note. If you are an accounting professional and you're going to be attending Scaling New Heights next week in Fort Worth, Texas, please stop by and see us at booth number 28. We're right over near the buffet, so you can't miss us. That was a strategic move on our side. And we're gonna be there. If you bring over a friend to learn about Client Hub, or you come over to Client Hub, just check with us. We've got some great swag and also some really exciting announcements. So join us. Well, enough about me, enough about Client Hub. I do want to introduce to you today Cortnie. Cortnie Grno of Mai Solutions, and she's right down the road from me. You're, let's see, in St. Cloud, Florida. I'm here in Ocala. And
Yep.
so, Cortnie, say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. So my name's Cortnie, and I am the owner of Mai Solutions LLC, which is a full-service bookkeeping firm. Basically, I do it all virtually, and I don't know, you want me to get into my story yet, but pretty much I do everything except for taxes. So I pretty much prepare clients in their businesses for tax season, and I love what I do. So it's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. Isn't it great to love what you do, Courtney?
I love it.
It actually makes, I know for me, it makes it so much easier for the day. And not that there aren't frustrations, um, but just to be able to get up, go to work, those of us that are virtual, get up, go to work, wear whatever we want, and then, enjoy what we do every day.
Yeah.
So, what we wanted to talk about, and you and I had a conversation last week, is what I think would be really interesting. My story is boring about how I started my firm because that happened 23 years ago. But you've started your firm a little bit more recently, and I'd love to. I think it'd be great for our audience to hear the story about what drove you to kind of start your firm. We all have a different story, but we'd like to hear what drove you and kind of about your passion for providing this level of service to clients.
Sure. So I actually didn't realize, never thought in a million years I would get into accounting. I was the girl who I wanted to be a zoologist or a marine biologist. I was always really good in math, but never really thought about it. Started working for a family company and realized that, like, oh, okay, this is something that I enjoy doing. I like, what I do, and realized that, I might want to, take this a little bit further. So part of, I'm a little older now than when I originally had started that. But when I had started, I had spoke to a family friend, accountant, and back then I was a lot younger, and I was actually told that accounting wasn't for women, and if I wanted to be a mom or have a family, I probably shouldn't do it. So it deterred me, and I thought, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is something I thought I loved, and I ended up working for different businesses and doing a bunch of different things in the meantime, and that's why my business is so new. Or I feel like I probably would have got started a lot longer ago. So I waited. I worked for multiple companies. I did get experience. I stayed in the accounting field, but working for other people. And what I realized over time was I really, really loved what I did. I enjoyed waking up every day and doing those things. So I decided one day, you know what, I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to get my degree and I'm going to do something. And in talking to a local accountant here in town, who's a family friend, who's a different guy than the original, he said there is a need for bookkeepers. And he knew I was in school. I had, chatted with him. I had already started taking on a couple of clients, didn't really know where I was going to go with it. And, my passion comes from helping people. So I was like, I would love to help these companies. I love what I do. I know everybody doesn't like paying bills or financial statements. And that's, kind of the nerdy side of me. I love, doing all of that. And so, it he said, if you think about it, you should probably do something like that. And so it took me about 30 days. I thought long and hard, I think every day. And finally, in 2017, I decided, you know what, I'm going to make this an official business. I'm going to go file my articles of organization with the state, and I'm going to get this going. And I did. Um, and I have to say, every day I'm so thankful that I did, because, I have gotten to do something that I love literally every day. And I think the best part and the thing that drives me more and more is, some people think of accounting as being like boring, or how can you look at numbers all day? But being on the bookkeeping side, I get to meet different clients and learn about different businesses and get creative and work with their workflows, which in turn has helped me even be better and get more organized on my side of the business, as far as my workflows and processes as I grow. So it's just been really like, I don't know, just a long passion of just helping people and seeing people succeed and move forward. And, it's just been great. So that's, just a little tidbit, going in and knowing that part of it. But, I just literally love what I do every day. And I want to help as many people as I can. That's my goal. So.
Well, I'm not going to refer to you as a nerd. I mean, I guess
I love it. I don't care.
yeah, I think of myself as a nerd, but a geek. I call myself a geek, right? So I'm
Okay.
a tech geek and a numbers geek.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing how much different it is for you now, just starting your business than it was for me 23 years ago. It just wasn't that easy. I mean, our reach was as far as the car could drive, really, right? Or as far
Mhm.
as we could afford to
That's
get.
true. Yep.
And so now we've got the opportunities with remote services. We can gather talent from around the country or even around the world to work for us or work
Mhm.
with us. We can get clients from anywhere, because they can find us right online. And so they can look for the best talent themselves, not
Mhm.
necessarily the person that's closest. And so, or they can look for specialties. And I know for you, it was really important. You're I guess, a work at home mom, right? Instead of a stay at home mom, a work at home mom.
Right.
So, being able to, and I hope that you go back to that first guy that told you if you want to raise a family, that, I just hope you go back and say, dude, look at me now.
I know. I really, I don't even know. I haven't seen him in years. Because it kind of put me off. But, I really wish I could see him and tell him that and go, you know what? There's actually more avenues than probably anyone thought of. And I think a lot of people just think tax, and there's so many avenues in accounting. And thank God for that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
But then
agree with you.
again, maybe you can thank him for saying, thanks for motivating me.
Right.
Um, but also, thinking about that experience that you gained in those jobs before starting your own business,
Oh, yeah.
is really, really great. And, I think some other thing that you kind of touched on is you talked about people think that, accounting is just numbers. And when you're providing client accounting services, I know, and from experience, it is so much more than that. It's
Oh, yeah.
relationships.
Mhm.
It's helping our businesses through crisis, like we did through last year, through COVID and PPP. It's
Mhm.
helping them to celebrate the wins. It's kind of providing them with ideas and insights into their business. So, tell me a little bit about what your favorite part is about kind of working with your clients and running your business.
Oh my gosh, I love so many parts of it. So I think one of the best things about, even before COVID, my model was I wanted to have a virtual business. COVID did kind of help that situation, because I did have people that were, fighting me on that before COVID. But I think having the flexibility with my clients and helping them realize that, like, sometimes, especially when you're first starting out newer businesses, you don't have to hire a full-time person, and teaching them and showing them that they can get a lot done, and grow their business and have things done, and have the professional that helps them, um, in a way that's affordable for them. um, to honestly, it just always goes back to helping people. I have a networking coach I don't know if you'll see this video, we always, our first thing that we did was talked about my why, and it just, every single thing that I did, every paper that I wrote things down on, trying to figure out why I was doing what I was doing and what my purpose, in life is, my why, just came back to helping people. Literally everything I do just goes back to helping. And, I truly enjoy seeing others succeed. So when I see a client say, you know what, we actually are so busy now, we want to hire somebody internally. It sucks to lose that client, but it makes me so proud to say, you know what, I'm so glad that they've gotten that success and gained it. Now, whether they keep me on for whatever, or they just totally hire internal. It's such a great feeling knowing that I've helped be part of that process and got them to that point. Um, you know, I I told you before, I get nervous because I'm the type of person, I like being in the background. I really don't like being, in front of people and speaking. It's never been my strong point. But as I've learned and grown in business, having the relationships, teaching people, telling people about sometimes just why I do something, making connections with other business owners and other businesses has been huge. And, that's why I do what I do. I just love, I think networking is also one of my favorite things too that I'm learning.
Well, and
That
it's
is.
funny, yeah, because networking is just, networking is to build our business, right? But
Yeah.
really, it's just building relationships.
Yeah.
You
It
can
is.
network with somebody today, and they have an impact, or you have an impact on them, or they have an impact on you 6 or months down the road, or 3 years down the road, which is terrific. Now, you talked about your why. And what I find with, you know, and that's one of the questions I'll ask clients, like, why did you start your business? That's at the very beginning. If I get a new client and they're, let's say, a landscaper, oh, I just started a landscaping business. My question is going to be why.
Mhm.
And so I want to, because I think we need to understand our clients' why as much as they need to understand ours. And
Agreed.
sometimes it's going to be because that's what I know how to do. Do you
Mhm.
enjoy it? No, but that's not what I know how to do. It's hot in Florida. um, or same with you. Oh, I'm looking for independence, financial independence. I want to have more of a work life balance. And so that's a great kind of first question with that I find with clients, is to ask them their
Yeah.
why they started their business and what they want to get out of the business.
Oh yeah.
So well, let me go ahead. So I did have a list of a couple of questions here.
Okay.
um, So tell me kind of what the most important thing you've learned along the way, as far as developing workflows for delivering your services or servicing your clients.
Um, so what I've learned as far as developing workflows, make sure that you have. Uh, that's a tough one. So of course, obviously, I'm here because I use Client Hub. Not to
But
have too many things in too many different places. And I'm going to go back to Client Hub, and I know this isn't about Client Hub, but one of the biggest things that I learned is, um, you know, keeping yourself in a good flow and having good processes literally can make or break you. I've had times early on where I'm just like pulling my hair out. I was pulling my hair out because I couldn't get this done or that done. I was trying to figure out, what do I got to do first? Obviously, in accounting, everything's important. Everybody has a deadline. Everybody wants something yesterday. So how do I get it and manage it so that I'm kind of ahead of the game and not falling behind? And when I found Client Hub, again, not to bring up Client Hub, but I want to because I love it. I was looking for Client Hub because I wanted a tool that I could communicate with my clients. I can share files with my clients. And then, of course, as I came on is when you guys had added the workflows. And I will tell you, having everything in one spot not only helped me, but as I've grown, I've actually added team members, and it has kind of centralized everything for them and myself. And I'm able to stay on top of their work, my work, making sure everything gets done. And I think that has been key to my growth. If I didn't have Client Hub, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest. I'd probably doing things off spreadsheets and other things. So for me, Client Hub has just helped me, and learning those workflows, and knowing that you have to have like a plan and something moving forward. That's completely huge.
Yeah, I can remember for me, so I've always been kind of a process driven person in my practice. And I used calendars, or we used that back. It's funny because I had a meeting with somebody the other day, and in the background she had one of those. It was the whiteboard calendars on the back, and that's how we used to keep track of where we had to be when, or what client
Mhm.
work was due on what day.
Yep.
And it was all color coded. She had one of those. It was like a it was like a trip back in time to see that.
Yeah.
And I can remember, waking up in the middle of the night thinking, did that get done? Did I remember to do that? Did somebody take care of that task?
Yep.
And so now kind of just knowing that I've got a really good way to handle and manage my processes and my team, and that I can, if I do wake up in the middle of the night, I know that in the morning I can just go to that dashboard and see if that work was done,
Yeah.
or what the progress of the work is. And so that's just really, really helpful for me. Do you have any workflow tips?
So tips, just in general or Client Hub wise? Just in general?
Just general, yeah, yeah.
Um, like accounting wise, my biggest thing is if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're like, okay, I need to kind of get it together, is just take a step back, and maybe, I kind of always start with like most important deadlines. You can only do one thing at a time. I know there's this whole world of multitasking, but ultimately, like, you can only work on one thing at a time. So, get your flow, whether it's a checklist you're writing down in a notebook, or if it's Client Hub, or if it's some other, tool that you're using. You can only start in one thing. So figure out the way that's best to organize yourself, whether it's by deadline, or if it's by client or date. Using a calendar, I mean, I still use my calendar for things, because we have, appointments and different things as well. Um, I'm a big Google user. So Google has tasks now that you can put on calendars. They have obviously your meetings, they have all kinds of things. So find a platform that's easy for you and that does what you need it to do. If you thought it, and I always say this, if I've thought it, it's already out there. So if you've thought it, it's probably already out there. And don't let money deter you if it's a paid program. If it works for you and it's going to get the work done and keep you on task, it's worth every single penny. I can tell you that.
Oh, I
Um,
so agree with that one too.
yeah. Because I know a lot of people, they go, oh, well, I don't want to pay. And that, in the beginning, I did that too. I found ways to do everything for free in the beginning.
Right.
But what I found was, when you pay for something, you're getting something more advanced and something that's going to work better for you, and do the things that you need it to do. And you won't have to, you know, go around and manipulate ways to make it work, So pay for the software, pay for whatever you need. It is going to save you time, money, energy, stress, everything. I can guarantee you.
Right. Yeah. So
So,
for me, my trick is that I break my work down into smaller chunks.
yes.
So, for
Oh,
instance, I
yes.
don't have a job that says monthly client work with 50 tasks. That would just be too overwhelming. So I break it down into the monthly work. Or the other thing I do is, because I delegate work, and so some of it payroll might be delegated to somebody else. So they have that job for payroll. Somebody else might be responsible for entering accounts payable, and they get that job. So taking, number one, delegating and breaking down your work into smaller chunks, because as we go ahead and complete those items, it gives us that sense of accomplishment.
Oh,
It's not
yes.
just that big, huge, list of tasks. And I like that idea of paying, when you talk about paying for software, because of course I sell Client Hub. But also my thought is, I've always looked at what is that really going to cost me. So if I've got something that, let's say it's $40 a month for a subscription. Okay, so I'm going to break it down. It's $10 a week. Oh, it's $2 a day. What would I do with $2 a day? Some people will go and work at Starbucks, which I know costs them a whole lot more than $2.
They're a lot more.
Right, right. And then, the other added benefits of something like that are, now you're not only, so what are the benefits? So for me, it would be, okay, so I've got a communication platform. I'm not going down that email rabbit hole. You know
Yeah.
how you get into your inbox and you start going through and you delete some stuff, and it. I don't even want to talk about email. It freaks me out. So bad.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
and
everyone's nightmare in this day and age is, oh,
yeah.
I got to get into my emails.
So again, and I mean, another difference here is I'm sure that when you worked for other people, you had a schedule. So, hey, you got to be at the office at 9 and you got to work till 5 or whatever.
Mhm.
How do you manage your time? And we talked about this about like, hey, what is lunch, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But how do you manage your time working from home and being a stay-at-home mom?
The biggest thing is I set up my schedule. So I'm a very process, workflow kind of person. So I actually block out certain times that are just for work. I won't take phone calls during that time. I have to focus. Being the bookkeeper, I'm the one actually doing the paperwork and having to put the details in. As well as my team. So we have to have time to actually get the work done. So I block out time for that. And I open up windows of time so that I can communicate, talk with my clients, deal with new clients. Now, obviously, things happen, and there's times in my blocked out work time I'm talking on the phone, but I try to just maintain what's easiest for me. If I know I have to go pick up my kids from school, I block out that time. Um, it's just managing, how I go throughout my day. So every day is different. Some days I have more things going on than others. We have deadlines on certain days over others. So I pretty much have my calendars pretty much scheduled out with, work, appointment time, time for meetings and different things that I do throughout my schedule. And that's really kept me in balance and on track for what I'm doing each week.
And so Courtney and I were just talking before we started the live about lunch. And so and I don't know if it's a woman thing, right?
Yeah.
So, we focus on everybody else before ourselves. And so we actually both put lunch on our calendars. Otherwise, if we don't, then the calendar gets filled up and,
Yep.
12 hours goes by and you haven't had a bite to eat or even something to drink.
Yep.
That's the other thing is I try to make sure I have at least 15 minutes before each meeting or whatever. And when I have that, I get up, I move around from my desk, I get something to drink, I try to stay hydrated. And now I noticed also you have your door shut behind you. So that's
Yeah.
that's me. And I've been working from home for over 15 years.
Mhm.
And everybody thinks, oh, that's this is great. You get to work from home. You can sit there and watch TV and eat bonbons. And you said, people, keep it teaching people that even though you're at home, you could still be working. My dad, he passed away about 9 years ago, but he used to live across the street from me. And I'd be working from home, right? And all of a sudden, I'd hear a knock on the back door, and he'd come over and he'd sit on the couch and start chatting with me. It's like, Dad, I'm working.
I gotta work.
That's not work. You're sitting, I was like, no, Dad, really, I'm working. And
Yeah.
so I had to just let him know that, don't come over while I'm working. Um, and I hated saying that, like, don't come visit me, Dad, but
Right.
don't come when I'm working.
Yeah.
But in honesty, when I used to actually work somewhere, he used to stop by my work and visit me. So in his defense, he
Oh,
didn't change behavior.
that's sweet.
Oh yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Well, I feel like, work nowadays and work back in the day, I think people valued their time more back in the day. Now it's like, you better answer your phone. You better answer that email. You better get back to me right away. There's not a lot of value on personal time. And so I think a lot of people are starting to kind of get back to that. Like, I need to work, but I also need to have a life. I need to kind of get that balance going. And it's important. I think it's important to kind of stop throughout your day too. Like, I have a stand up desk where I can stand it up or sit down. Sometimes I'll go take a walk. It's super important because you can't be overwhelmed with work 24/7 either. So,
Well, yeah, you can't, and if you're just, it passes the day passes so quickly. I can easily sit down at my desk at 5 a.m. and before I know it, it's it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I barely got up because I was just so engrossed in what I was doing. So what I've done is I can't sit at my desk until I've had me time, and me time could be stretching on the living room floor, doing some yoga, going out for a bike ride, or just a walk in the morning. So I've got to have that me time before I get going. Now I've ventured away from that a little bit because I do allow myself. So now I said to my, sometimes I'd say, oh, I don't have time to go do something. So what I'll allow myself to do is triage my inbox. So I always triage my inbox. I go through and see if there's anything I need to address when I come back. And I also look at my calendar so I'm mentally prepared for the day. Nothing is going to catch me off guard. And so the other way that I manage my time, and I never miss a meeting, and I hope those of you out there, I try to never miss a meeting. But my trick is that I go through my calendar and I set a reminder. I set an alarm to go off 5 to 10 minutes before every meeting I have throughout the day. And so that way I don't accidentally, look at the clock and say, oh, I had a meeting that started 10 minutes ago.
I literally just started doing that because there's been times I'm like, crap, because you get so entwined in what you're doing that you forget that there's other things going on and things on your calendar. Yes, I've started
Right.
doing that
Right.
lately. Every day
And
in the morning, I'll do the same thing. I'll look at my calendar for the day, set my alarms now to coincide with any meetings that I might have, and then kind of go from there. I think that's super important to do so you don't forget.
I know. Well, especially too, I mean, I'm trying to sell stuff here. I'm starting to sell software. Although I have to tell you what I did, and I don't normally say this. I had two client meetings yesterday, so for my firm, and one of them was at 9 o'clock and one was at 10 o'clock. And I was in such a rush. I called my 10 o'clock. That wasn't a Zoom meeting. I called my 10 o'clock at 9 o'clock, and she answered the phone. She goes, "Oh, I forgot we were talking this morning." And, I go ahead and about 30 minutes through the meeting, and I went to go look at something. I think I went into Client Hub to look for something in her account. And all of a sudden I went, oh, crap. I said, Pat, you were my 10 a.m. meeting, not my 9 a.m. meeting. My 9 a.m. meeting was waiting for me.
Oh no.
So that was my goof.
Yeah. It
Um,
happens. It happens. No one's perfect, right? We live in a world where everybody's trying to be perfect, but nobody's perfect.
that's
It's
it.
okay.
That's it. So yeah, that was my faux pas for the week. So Courtney, before we let you go,
Sure.
do you want to tell our listeners if you had one great piece of advice for somebody just thinking about starting their own, accounting or bookkeeping firm? What would it be?
Do it. No. So as far as what would it be, I would say if you're not 100% sure on what you need to do, just find a mentor, find somebody who has either done it or can help you through the process. Don't be scared to ask questions and just do it. Literally, I don't think anybody's ready for anything. I even said when I had kids, I wasn't ready for kids. You're just never going to be ready. So jump in with your 2 feet and you know ask for help if you need it along the way. Nobody's going to you know bash you for asking for help, to better yourself and to, especially when you're helping other people. So do it.
And do you have any place that you go? So Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups, any place that you go to kind of communicate or strategize with your peers or ask for help?
So there are a ton of Facebook groups, but there's two actual mentors that I'm involved in their Facebook groups and in one of the programs. One is Melanie Power. She's for bookkeeper. She's actually based out of Australia.
Yeah, I know Melanie well. Yep.
Yep. And then there is Tiffany, I believe her last name is Higgins. And I do not remember the name of her company. It's because I haven't done any of the courses, but I am involved in her groups. And it's so great because a lot of the bookkeepers in these groups, I mean, we help each other all throughout. And then obviously the programs that they have are like phenomenal. So if you're getting into, and they're specific to bookkeepers. So if you're getting into bookkeeping, they are going to change your world. So, whichever or both or however you do it, I definitely suggest doing that or finding somebody locally. I do have accountants and CPAs that I work with locally that, if I have questions or, things that I'm not 100% sure about, I go to them and I make sure that I get the answers I need. So I just reach out. I mean, there's people out there willing to help and make connections. That's how you network, get out there. That's what I do. So
I was trying to, is it Bookkeeper's Corner? Is that Tiffany's?
I
I
don't think
can't.
so.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot. I feel so bad that I can't remember. But if I can, I'll post a link in there later for both of those that we
Well,
can
I'm on
write
her.
down.
Yeah, I'm in on her email list, and I'm trying to remember. And I was trying to look up, of course, on my email, but I don't want to be looking at my email when I'm supposed to be looking here into the camera. But I do get her emails. And you're right. There are lots of really, really great Facebook groups that are dedicated to bookkeepers and accountants. And again, I mean, these are all really great groups that people share information. They're open, they're honest. If you're looking for solutions, they'll give you, their feedback, or even if you just need to know how. So
Yeah,
I hope those groups keep going on.
me
So,
too.
hey,
Great.
one thing I do also want to say thank you, Courtney, for those of you listening. We here at Client Hub, we have a customer advisory council, and Courtney is a member of our council. So, thank you for your service to Client Hub. She helps us to better understand, the accounting community. Not that I don't know it, but like it always gets better, and
Everybody's got a different view, right?
exactly, exactly. And again, I'm not an old person accountant, but I'm an older, but people are looking at things differently.
Mhm.
So Courtney, thank you so much for your time today. Again, I've gone ahead and I've posted links to um, Courtney's LinkedIn page, her Facebook page. Also, you can check out her websites. And Courtney, can our listeners, can they reach out to you if they have questions or
Yeah,
need us
if
help?
yeah, sure. You can either reach out directly on my website, and I believe my email, or you fill out the contact form if you want to touch base, or call my office line, 407 I'll talk to anybody if you guys haven't need any advice or anything. I mean, I'll give whatever knowledge I can.
It's funny. I'll talk to anybody, not
Okay,
spammers, though, right?
great. No scammers. No, don't try to sell me something because I'm probably not going to buy it.
Actually, I'm not going to put your phone number there, but you can reach out. Yeah, I was going to put it
Yeah,
on the chat, and I thought, I don't want to do that to Courtney.
that's fine.
So yeah, I do. Again, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been really great talking. Just remind everybody, if you are a Client Hub user, even if you're not a Client Hub user and you want to come on, we do our live sessions every other week on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Love to have you as a guest. Feel free to go ahead and send me a message. You can do it via Facebook, but I have to tell you that I'm not a big social media person, regardless of if I have to be. Um, but go ahead and send me a message on Facebook, or you can send me an email at Judy. It's Judie at clienthub.app. Love to hear what you have to say. And like I said, you could be a Client Hub user, not a Client Hub user, maybe another app developer that wants to share some insights with our group. So we'd love to have you here. We will be back. Let me take a look at my calendar here. I forgot to look at the date. We will be back Friday, November 5th. We look forward to seeing you. Courtney, thank you again. Thank you for everybody for spending time with us today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the week and a nice Halloween.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.